wanted to talk about Jean and how her work, and you saw some of it last time when we were all together. And you've all stitched, or some of you have started stitching Jean's Esperanza. And I went all around my house and picked up all the things that I used Jean Hilton stitches in, or not all of them, but the ones I could find. I can't find some stuff. Anyway, I found the Mountain View patch. I was a member of Mountain View when she was still here, and I thought I'd show it to you.
Oh, isn't that pretty?
This was my version of her Mountain View patch. So even back then, I was changing things. So she here. The light is shining on it, but so you can see that on this patch she had a lot more stitching and less background showing, and I think that Esperanza might have been one of her early ones. I don't really know, it's hard to say, but anyway,
It was 1987 or 89 that she published
okay.
it. So
Okay,
that
so
is
this
pretty
one was
early.
before yours, I think. Then I think because yours went in the chapter project book.
So she probably designed it a couple years before that, obviously.
Yeah, yeah. So I decided that I would pull up some of the things that I've done that I've used her stitches in so that you could see them. And I sent Shirley a pattern today for all of you, and it's called Just a Taste of Jean Hilton's, and it's a design play to play with. And the reason I wanted to do this is I want to talk about, for those of you who are doing your own designing, or you see an area in a piece that you think you could use one of her stitches, Jean's stitches are really easy to blow up and shrink down. They're real easy because they're so mathematical. There's just such an easy way to do it. And so here you have the Mountain View patch, which I don't even know the name of. I know that there was a name for it, but I usually put the name on the back of my pieces, but I didn't do that. But early on, and this piece was done a long time ago. So I'm going to show you if I can get this to blow up this time. I don't know if you can see those hearts in the middle. See the band of hearts there?
Mm-hmm.
See it? That's one of her crescent hearts right here. There's one on each side of this band. And so I like anything that you can weave and that you can play with. And so none of these were the right size when I was designing this piece. So I got out my graph paper and did all the things that we could do. So if you look in just this band, I have 3 different of her hearts just in this band. This is a closed crescent heart here. And I have another piece that has that in it. This is a sprat's heart. You see that? It's a sprat's head that's been pulled down. And then we have the open crescent. So in this band of, I'm going to see if I can get the whole band out there so you can see it. You can see all the way across, it's a band of hearts. And so I repeated the hearts in the band as I went across. And this was a long time ago. I don't think it's in 98. So I know that it was one of those that I did with her early work. And her books were came out in the 90s. So this was working just from classes that I'd had with her, where I took them and worked with them. So the other another piece, that was just a keyboard. Another piece, what is that? Another piece that I used her double fan. Well, no, it's not a double fan double. It was her her Chili Hollow stitch. You know, she named her stitches after people or places that she'd been. Her designs came from those same sort of resources. So right in the middle of this, the center of this design is one of her is her Chili Hollow stitch. Let's see if I can get to it. There it is, right here. You see it? There are 4 Chili Hollow stitches there together to make that. There. Oh, it's the light above me. Oh, sorry.
Also, Margaret, your phone has
Anyway, so when I was working on this piece and I was trying to design a center for it, I love these stitches, but to make one big stitch, to make a stitch that big, the threads weren't going to lay down very well and they weren't going to stay. So I decided to divide it into 4, and then with the sprats heads all the way around it. So this is another one of her stitches that I've used in a design. So her designs let you use them in areas where you can grow. There are growth opportunities there. And that's what I like about them. So I have a couple of ornaments here that I'm going to show you. The pumpkins, by the way, are their eyes are sprats heads. So they're just really big sprats heads, and you can probably see it better on the yellow one. You can see the sprat's head there.
Oh, that's cool.
And she just there's so many things you can do with them. So just other pieces that have her work in it. You like my tablecloth? This is a Halloween cat, and I put a big crescent around a Jessica around the eyes, so to make the eyes pop out. So and you can see the crescents, and with a button in the middle. Just different ways to use her stitches and lots of different things. I use her hearts a lot. I'm a heart person. I like the hearts. So this one was fun because it has so many hearts in it. I've got the big heart in here. This is a crescent heart, similar to one that's in the pattern that I've sent to Shirley. And this one is a little bit more open, the little red heart. So there's 3 different heart patterns in here. This is one heart pattern. This is a second heart pattern, and this is a third heart pattern. So just to give you some ideas on where you can use them. Another one, now this is actually one of her heart patterns done wrong. I took her outline for the hearts, and then I stitched it in a different way, and I thought, I don't know how this is going to look, and I left it in, and I've really been happy with it. So sometimes your mistakes are just as important as the right thing that you do. She even has stitches called the mistake stitch, and she tells you where she decided to make a change in a stitch, and you see it in her books, and I really like that about her, that she shared so much. If you read her books, they were an education all in themselves. So once again, more hearts. This way so you can see it. But that's not the only thing I used of hers. So hearts weren't the only thing I used. So this is another ornament that I combined her stitches. This is an Amadeus that's they all point to the center, but I've elongated the sides of them to make them come out much farther. This is a Christmas ornament, and it was just the big star. So with that, I had all of the 4 of them meet in the center there. So when you're looking at her books, there's so many things that you can choose from. Can you hear me? Are you there?
Oh, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Are you there, Shirley?
Yes.
Yes.
You're muted. I can't hear you.
No, I can
I
hear.
just have a little bar on the side, and
I'm here. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, Margaret?
I don't
Margaret,
have any sound.
we are hearing you. This
We-
is Margie Thornburg. Can you hear me, Margaret?
Okay, Margaret, I'm gonna chat. I think you may have
Nod
muted.
your head if you can hear me. Okay, that's good. That's good. All right. I don't know why I can't hear you. I don't have anybody muted. I think that's somebody else that is in charge of that. So this is another one of my ornaments that I used several of her stitches in it. And you can see that this is this is her superimposed waffle that she calls it that, the superimposed waffle. I had done this stitch before I knew it was hers. And then I have the heart sprat's head here, and then you have the crescent here. And then on the back of this, I have, I don't know if you can see, this heart was a total mistake. I went crazy. It was this part that went up should have gone down. It was a whole different heart, and I just kept it. But it's Jean's basic heart. Can you see that? Not okay. All right. So I just thought I'd share all of those with you, just so that we can think about what she does and how she did it, what she did and how she worked on it. So we have you have her books. Some of you were lucky enough to win them in the raffle, and some of you may have had them. But I brought I had my the spines broke on all of them because they were old and well worn, and I had the two books bound together, so I couldn't lose them. I thought, I lose one, I'm in trouble. If I lose two, I'll scream. But anyway, if you look, whoops. Okay. I want you to look at some of her patterns. And so if you see, for instance, this is a plaited ray, and this is how she works it. But if you look at it, you can see how easy it would be to change this, just to extend the length of this and the number of threads. If you notice that she's very methodical, every other stitch, every stitch is every 2 threads. There's 2 threads between each stitch as she goes along. My camera's gone. Okay, so when we look at what she has done and what she does, you have all of her crescents and her Jessicas. And I think that's probably the first thing I ever stitched of hers were the Jessica I knew were hers. And I think that we can use them in all sorts of ways, either in a lot of my work, a lot of everybody's work. And I love to fill them with beads. I love to see metallic stitches inside, and I love to see beads inside of them. It pops. And she was really good at that. And she didn't use a lot of beads. She didn't use any beads well, she did, because she did use some bead nests and things. So I brought the books out because I thought that would be interesting for you to look at. So what I have here is I have it's the small piece that you have. Uh-oh. Where'd we go?
Oh, Margaret, you are still, your small camera is still viewing it. Can you hear me, Margaret?
I see your lips moving, but I can't hear you. My screen sharing is paused. Okay.
Ah. Okay.
It sounds to me like she has her speakers muted.
Yeah, she did. She muted her own speakers because she was trying to mute the speakers on one. She muted both. So we can't, I texted her, but I don't think she knows that because she can't hear us. So
It's back. Shake your head. Can you see it? Okay. This is terrible. I feel like I'm, closet. Actually, I probably am. All right. So this is a little design that I came up with just so that we could kind of play, and you could play with it when you're at your home and playing with whatever you want. Shirley has this, and she's going to send it to you. Yes. She has the
Yes,
chart. Okay. All right. I don't know why I don't have any sound.
because you muted.
Let's see.
Maybe write it out and hold up a sign so she can read it.
There. There it is. I heard sounded like Carla.
Okay, so I think can you hear us now, Margaret?
Yeah.
Okay, when you muted both, as the sounds from both devices, I think.
I didn't.
So in any case, do we still see the book?
Uh-huh.
Lacey Diamond, Jessica, is that, we still see it on your iPhone?
It's gone now. Can you still see it?
No, yes, I can still see it.
This is weird. Okay. Can you see this?
Yes, we can a spotlight for everybody. Just the problem is that you're still sharing. Can people see this? Go ahead. Go ahead, Margaret.
Can you see that? Margie can see it.
Yes.
Okay. All right. This is the beginning of the little chart that I sent to Shirley. And if this were working, which I'm not sure why it's not, and you're still seeing the book, so it froze on that.
Yeah, it did. So let me,
Or she may have paused the share and she just needs to unpause it.
that's true. So, but I wanted to show you, can anyone see this? Margaret developed for us, which is very nice of her, called Just a Taste of Jean Hilton's design play. Do you guys see that?
Hold on.
No,
No, you cannot see it?
No, I can't. I still see the screen that she was sharing.
Oh,
I see
okay.
the screen and Margaret.
Okay, so we're viewing Margaret's screen now. Okay.
For some
So-
reason, it says now that my screen sharing is paused, and I don't know how to unpause it.
Okay.
Tap it again.
I'm sorry.
Tap it again.
Tap
Okay,
it twice.
I'm
Just
gonna-
tap it one more time and that would
Oh.
unpause it.
Okay. Can you see the screen
No,
now?
I took you out so we could start over again because I think it's
So what were you going to share, Shirley?
okay. So well, Margaret, I'll share this real quick.
Okay.
So can you guys see this?
Yay!
Yes.
So I want to thank Margaret. She designed this for us, just a taste. And there's a master graph of 2 hearts or 2 half hearts. And that's what she was referring to in that stitch that she showed us. So she'll send us a picture later. I'll send it out tomorrow, or I'll wait until Margaret has it. Margaret, should I wait for until you're done, or can I just send it out
No,
now?
you can send it out now. You can send
Okay,
it out
I'll
right now if you want.
Okay, I'll just
Here's the master
send it out
chart.
to everybody.
That look like an owl.
Right, so it's 6 pages of it, and there you go. So I am going to stop the share on this one. Tonight, I'll email it the entire chapter, okay?
Okay. And I'll talk about it now then. So I did this, it kind of in the theme of Jean, like Jean always did. She at this stage, she always was pretty much monochromatic. Not that we have to be. And you saw how pretty when you saw Margie's and you saw the others, how pretty they are when you gussy them up. But because I didn't want to worry about the color in this, I just picked up a piece of blue canvas. I got some blue pearl, some blue floss, cotton floss, and a spool of number 8 and number 4 101 Krynic silver braid. And that's what I to play with it. So if this were working, it would be showing, but it's not. So
Well,
you
we
will
stopped
have it tomorrow.
sharing. Margaret, Margaret, it's because we stopped sharing. So if you want to share screen again and go back to the mirror, you have to go through the process again.
I don't want to do that.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, Margaret, no
Make
problem.
you crazy, make me crazy. So I'll talk about this. So what I did with this is that I talk about the heart, and you will have the pattern. And what I've done is I've done something a little bit different here. I made a change in her heart. And since when you look at it, whoops, do you see how heavy the heart is up here?
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
How much heavier it's covered? So what I did is that when I was stitching, and it goes from 1 to 70 on each side. So, and I tell you in the directions, and you'll see all of it, that, and I tell you which stitches go where, like down the center of this chart. I'll hold the chart up. So I'll have to move it back. So as you know, when you work a crescent, you start at the bottom, and then the number 1 is down here. Although she had this numbered upside down in her book, I think that's very interesting. So she had it totally upside down, and on purpose. It wasn't like a printer made a mistake. So we go from 1 to 2, and 2's up here. And then you just follow it 3 to 4 all the way around. And then at 2, it starts to double up. You start to have 2 threads in each hole from that point on. And that's how my chart is written, so that it comes up and around and over and down until it gets here in the middle. And then I have you jump. I have another one here so I can hold it up and look at this one. So if you, I'm sorry, it is so that is not working. So what happens is that when I got into here, I decided, well, I went all the way around, and I had a big empty space, and I thought, oh, I'd really like to fill that in. I'd like to do something different with it. So I made a change. So it's 46 is there, and then it goes to 47, 48, all around, you know. So what I did is that in these squares, when I changed it, it says 46 to 70, which is not where you think 46 is going to go. So it goes from here over to there. This one goes to, to 72 up. And what it does is it puts those 2 stitches up here, and then we come back down here, and we continue, and it's all numbered. You continue and come around. I don't know how well you can see it. So when you get it, it's going to jump from, it's going to say 4670, and then 4872, and then it's going to say 5070. So what is going to happen down here under 70, all of these numbers are going to be the continuation. So 46 is going to be that. Then we've got them going to 70. So 50 goes to 70. 49, 49, 51, 53, 55, 57, 59 are all going to go into 70. And then here, we're going to start going to 72. And what it does is, instead of just taking it to here and having all of this be open, you can see by changing the landing point, you see how it fills it all up? And so it's much heavier up here. And this was all just because I decided to make a change. And with her stuff, if you have to doodle in order to really see when you're designing it, when you're working on it, how you're going to change that. And when I got it all done, I thought, oh, I don't really I want this to be heavier up here. And so I changed my landing point. Instead of everything going to 72, I had to take a stop in the middle. I had to take a stop right here and take it over to 70 and 72. So I would have those as landing points are already settled. So they're at the bottom, and all of these come in on top of it and just filled it all in. And that's just that's the kind of things that Jean did. She would try it. If she liked it, she kept it. If she didn't like it, she ripped it out. But she always wrote it down. She always kept a record of what she did. Just, this is what she told me when I had a long talk with her right before she moved away, one of the times she left Southern California. And we talked about it because I'd done something wrong in a piece, and I thought, you know, I still like it. I'm going to keep it that way. So I decided on this, on the
Mark,
chart.
just to let you know that I added a file. If you look in chat, you'll see the file, and you just open up and can follow Margaret along. Okay?
Are you talking to me?
No, Mark, I was talking to everybody to let them know in chat. I
Okay.
added the file of your chart, and they can follow along.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Yeah, they can download it if you want to right now.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Shirley, you're so smart. So, so what I did is that, you know, you can tell when you look at this chart that it's going to, it says the two numbers like 44 and then so you would go to 45, and 69, you would go to 70. So when you look at this, if you're not sure, if you get lost, and it's right in here that everything starts to change, right in here. If you look over here, it's going to tell you where these stitches land. So these are the, if you look at it, they're the stitches where it will, those stitches will go into 72. And you know that these are the beginning stitches because they're an odd number. An even number is the end of the stitch. An odd number, it's always it's always up on odd, down on even. So in under 72, if you don't know where you are, it's going to start right here. So it's going to be 60 to 72, or 50 to 70, 52 to 70. So that means 51 went in there. You know what I'm talking about? Does that make sense to you now? And especially if you can see it on chat, then then that'll be even better. So the reason I'm making a big deal out of this, because you girls, if you know you need a heart or you need a crescent. Now I noticed that she sometimes calls them crescent hearts, and sometimes she has another name that she uses for it. But when it's a crescent with her, and then she's going to use it as a single crescent, not part of a heart, I've noticed that this leg of the crescent is always longer, and it doesn't line up with the center line like it does in a heart. You know how the heart shares all these lines down the middle? In her crescents, they always go past it. So which makes them more elongated and very, they're very elegant. They have a real elegant look, and you can see it in her books. And at first I thought, when I first started using her books, oh, she made a mistake. She started here, she did that, until you look at her work and you see that she meant to do it. She really meant to do it. So that is the center of this piece. So I wanted you to be able to think about how to change some of her stitches. Now the crescents are probably one of the harder ones to change. The Jessicas are fairly easy. When you look at a Jessica, they're the round Jessicas. They start with, let's see if I can do it in here, but it really hurts not having that. I just feel bad that you can't see it. I'll find it. But anyway, so instead of putting something else inside, because there are all kinds of, you could do a tied sheaf up here. And in fact, in this ornament right here, this one, the one I just showed you. So if you look at it, we have this, we have the superimposed waffle, but right here in the corners, we have a tied sheaf. You see it there? Is it in focus for you? So it's on each of the corners. So I decided I was going to put a tied sheaf in here, and I thought, no, I think what I'll do is just put a crescent, because this is another one that you can change the size of. This is a corner. I wanted to make it easy because sometimes we have beginners in our group, and I want them to be successful too. So you have to decide how long you want it. And I know that I have friends who stitch, and if the stitch isn't numbered for them, do I have this upside down? I do. If the stitch isn't numbered for them, they say, oh, it won't work, it won't fit. Well, on her crescents, you pick where you want it to be. So if you look at this, there's about 4 threads in each half empty. So it was easy for me to count 4 threads from there. And they always, if you look at the pattern, it's big enough. On page 3, you can see that when you go from 1 to 2, it comes down one canvas thread. This line is the same line as the outline of the border around it. So when it comes up, it's going to come up it's going to share. So when you go from 1 to 2, and then you go from 3 to 4, 5 to 6, you're working all along one side and coming back around. So what I want you to see is that you can see the front of it and see how it looks. And here's the back of it. Do you see up in the corners? It's almost identical to the front. The front and the back are almost the same. And I've had students, I've used these in other things, and I've had students that want to go from 1 to 2, and then they want to come from 3 to 4 down here. Well, that's a sprat's head, but that's what they're used to seeing. So it would be 1 to 2 and 3 to 4 if it were a sprat's head, but this is it goes all the way around. But this is a very easy stitch to adapt to whatever, wherever you want it to be. They don't have to be as big as this, they can be smaller. So you have your master chart that kind of looks like an owl. Here it is. So this is the heart. Here's your crescents. You've just got satin stitches around it. I didn't want to make it too big. It's 2 3/4. So anybody who wants to play with it, they know what they're doing. But you've got this much room in it. You could do anything you wanted to do in it. If you wanted to make this bigger, say you wanted a bigger crescent, a bigger heart, or maybe you just shrink this. You don't want to count. You just shrink this and make it a little smaller. In here, I have an outline stitch, an extra long elongated outline stitch. But that sheaf would still work in here if you wanted to do it. And those of you who have our books, you can look at them and see. But I decided that I wanted it to be something that was little, that would let you work on a heart. I didn't make a lot of borders to make it harder and longer. And, in the, say, if you did it on white canvas with red and green, it could be for Christmas. Pink canvas, it could be for Valentine's. You could do anything you wanted. And I was going to put it in, and I didn't. I was going to put in a diagonal heart so that you could hang it on point if you wanted to. But the diagonal heart, I thought, I don't need to confuse anybody. So this is just the little, it's a little piece, but it is something that you can finish in a notebook, or you can make a box top or an ornament, whatever. These are the stitches. This is the outline stitch that goes between the 2 borders. This is something I like to do. This was 1 by 3. It's really an outline stitch, like in embroidery. And I cross it at the corners, and you might have to compensate. So I wanted to fill the background around the heart, and I've given you 2 different patterns for the background around the heart. This is a 4-way. They call it a 4-way continental, but it's not really a continental, it's a satin. So I just call it a 4-way stitch. And I would use that in the background around the heart, that one. Or on the top of the next page, you have a diagonal weave stitch. So can you see that? So either of those 2 stitches would go around here really well. And because they are counted, and even if you start at the top and go down and you just keep doing the stitch from both sides, and it'll meet in the middle. It's not one of those that you would have any trouble with it. And the background inside of the heart is going to be, I'm going to put in other background stitches, and they're on page 6. I have a skip tent, which is a traditional skip tent. which you have, they're not. Now, there's two ways to do skip tent. I've done the one that's more open. I've given you the one that's more open, that 1 to 2, 3 to 4. This one, 1 to 2, 3 to 4. The thread passes beneath this intersection. So what it is it's far more transparent. If you did over here, if this were your 1 to 2, if 11 to 12 were your 1 to 2, and it came over here, you'd have a long thread on the back, and it would make your, let's see, if you made 11 to 12, you're 1 to 2. You go 1, 2, come all the way over here, 3, 4, all the way over here, 5, 6. And that would put more thread on the back, and it would make it a little firmer, would have more consistency to it, maybe a little depth. And this is my favorite is alternating skip tent, and it's down here. That's my favorite filling stitch because the motion of the stitch as you go back and forth. And once again, this is done in the most translucent way, because 1 to 2, the thread travels beneath that intersection, 3 to 4 beneath the intersection. But if you started on this side and if this were 1 to 2, it would be 1 to 2, and you'd have a long drag over here, 3 to 4, a long drag over here, 5 to 6. You all get that? All understand that? Mm-hmm. So this was just something to play with, just to play with her stitches. And I know that some of you won some of her books, and you have you can have time to. I have a medical paper right here in the middle of my printout. Oops, Dawn. Anyway, do you girls have any questions about it? I tried to make it really simple. I didn't want to make it complicated, but if you decide to do it, I'd love to see the colors you put in it and what you do with it.
Margaret,
Yes.
we have someone asking, is there a typo in the middle of the heart? It goes 4469 and the next one's 4670. Should that be 4671?
No, it always goes down in even numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
It goes down in even numbers, comes up in odd, unless it's, I don't know where I've shuffled all over. Oh, here it is.
Oh, there is a 4670.
Yeah, right.
So that's
So
the
40
center.
4670. 46 is from the center, and it's going to go to 70. And then look at 48 goes up to 72. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
And then we drop back down to 50 goes to 70, 52 goes to 70, 54 goes to 70.
Okay, I made the question. 70 is on there in 2 different places, and maybe I'm just not getting it.
Okay, 70 is it's at the tip of the curve. Do you see it with an asterisk? Is that what you're talking
Yes.
about?
Yeah.
And 70, I'm just telling you what that stitch is going to share with.
But what about the one that's 4670?
It should be 45.
What?
Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. I have a huge one I drew on and I can't find it. Okay. So when I say 46/70, I've reversed the numbers. Anyway, so 44 is going to go to 69, 4469. I'll have to look at that. I may have to send Shirley another correction. But anyway, so what happens is down here at the bottom, when you're looking at 50 goes into 70, 52. I'll change the numbers, and because if you look over here, I've got it 70, it goes 49, 51, 53, 55. So I'll have to fix that. Sorry.
And there's
Okay.
also a 70-50 on the right-hand side.
Right, right, on both sides. They're mirror images.
Well,
And you can figure it out.
No, you're not going to have to figure it out. I said I would do it.
No,
Okay.
no, I'm just saying because I get challenged on these pieces, but when I learn it, it sticks. So I appreciate
Sticks, right, right. That's
Yeah.
why I want it to stick right.
mhm.
Yeah, no, it's I stitch them and stitch them and stitch them. So, okay, I will fix that on that chart. So it'll make more sense. Okay,
Well, are
So-
there any other questions for Margaret?
Thanks.
you're welcome.
Okay, I know some of the East Coast people had to log off. It's over 11 o'clock now. And I want to thank Margaret very much for yet again. I'm going to go back to gallery view yet again, come to do a program and made a fabulous, one of a kind program just for us. I really appreciate it.
Shirley,
Yes.
can I share one thing? I found a Jean Hilton book. It's called Unique Bargello.
Mm-hmm.
Are people familiar with? I don't know whether. Oh, here I go again with my background. Let me get it into none.
Oh, wow.
It's all in color. And I looked at the date and it was published in 94.
I've not seen that, Jill.
And I bought it at Old Town Needleworks. So
You think, Jen-
obviously I bought it in the past probably 2 or 3 years.
yeah. Remember,
My
Jan-
cousin who passed away last year had that in her stash, and I've given it to some friends a friend locally who was interested in Bargello. But that
Oh,
was
I
a
think it's
really, it was a dynamic book, yeah.
and remember, you can, it's being reprinted again with, what's her name?
Rope Ace.
What? Not Rope Pace. It's the lady from back east. Oh, I'm sorry. I kind of blanked out. I just did that presentation.
Heart?
Yes, Heart. It's the,
Heart.
yes. From,
Susie is her first name.
right, right. So any case, thank you so much for Margaret doing this. And let me read to you, thanks to Chris. These are the people that received a door prize tonight.